group in the church is probably the most overlooked group, but they probably at times are the most valuable group. Let's get to it. Hey, welcome to Encouragement at Emmanuel. I am so glad you're taking the time to tune in. This is going to be a pre-recorded broadcast today, but the chat will be live. And so please, y'all get in the chat room and just kind of chat away and enjoy. But we are going to do a pre-recorded today just because of a schedule conflict on this day. So we're doing this ahead of time. And I am glad you're here. Now, don't forget, you can text us. You can email us. The text number is 903-265-3286. I'm picking it up on the bottom of the screen. Or you can email us at encouragement@ebclongview.com if you have any questions, if you have any comments, if you have any pictures you would like to share, birthday celebrations, signs. I did take a picture of a sign this past week. I'm going to bring it on the broadcast next week. But go ahead and do that, and then comment, like, subscribe, ring the bell. That way you get notifications so that when we go live, it'll pop up on your phone. And I am just glad that you are here today. Although I'm not live, you're live watching it, and I just appreciate you. Birthdays for this week. Boy, we have a lot of them. Caleb Alderson, and on the 21st, Joseph Ortiz on the 21st. And then the 22nd has three: Charlotte Hurst, Emma. I've never seen your name spelled all the way out. Emma Steingruby on the 22nd. David Thomas. He's one of our couples teachers, and then he heads up the sports league. So happy birthday to you. Then Brother Kamadiner, how can we forget you, my friend? Probably one of the oldest members of our church. Not oldest as in age-wise, oldest as in tenure. Got to keep that one straight. And then Frankie Sanchez, a new daddy. Happy birthday to you. Then Solomon Perry. I love that name, Solomon. And Brother and Miss Perry, you know, I've often wondered, this kid better be very wise. And I think for his birthday, you need to get him a sword. That way he can show his wisdom. So anyways, happy birthday to you, Solomon. And then Emily Robinson, and then Killian Thompson. And then rounding out this week is Jen Combest and Ricardo Rocha. And Brother Rocha, we appreciate you. In fact, Brother Rocha is very handy with wood, and he likes making things. And so, Brother Rocha, thank you for all that you do for us and the Spanish church, and we sure do appreciate you. And then we have some special birthdays this month, and it was the twins. That's how we refer to them, Carson and Elise. And they are the twins of Emmanuel, and boy, that's some cute kids right there. And then I love the thing one, thing two. And you gotta love that. Except, shouldn't the guy be first and the girl second? Or maybe that was the birth order, right? That's probably the birth order right there. But anyways, happy birthday to you, and we just appreciate everything that you do. This may be a little bit shorter of a broadcast because we have pre-recorded it, but nonetheless, I do want you to be blessed, because this is all about encouragement, and we are going to take a segment of our church and even churches that we talked about in the opener, and what segment of the church is probably the most overlooked at times, but they truly are very necessary, and it's been a passion of ours here to make sure we develop. But I do want to take you to the auditorium of the Emmanuel Baptist Church, and this past week we were blessed by a special by one of our young men, and his name is Sammy Alvarez, or Samuel. He likes to be called Sammy, but this is an extraordinaire, and he loves to sing, and I think you'll be blessed like we were this past Sunday night. So enjoy the special.
wasn't one. to see, but I went that night somehow in spite of that, and they ushered me in with a warm and friendly smile, and I rose back, I sat. I rose back, I remember well a story of Jesus I heard and tell. They told about heaven and they warned of hell. I listened, I rose back. The words of the preacher man were arrows of burning truth. They reached my heart as he spoke so earnestly, and he told how Jesus suffered, how he bled and died, and he did it just for sinners like me. Soon the choir started singing, just as I am. Oh, I knew I was lost, my life was a sham. But I came and I was washed in the blood of the Lamb. Up I rose back, I came. What a change, things are different now. Peace and happiness fill my heart as he reached my heart, as he spoke so earnestly. And I know that through the years of time and through eternity, I'll not forget the night my sins were washed away. Soon the choir started singing, just as I am. Oh, I knew I was lost, my life was a sham. But I came and I was washed in the blood of the Lamb. From I rose back, I came. From I rose back, praise God, I came.
Amazing. And that was Sammy Alvarez, and he's one of our single young men here at the church, and we just enjoy every time that he's able to sing. But this last time, that was truly amazing. In the studio with us is our singles pastor, Brother Mitchell Haley, and I know this was somewhat come on this pre-recorded, and I know if I give you time to think about this, you probably will stress.
It's true.
It's
Very
true.
Yes.
It's true. So you'll stress
It's better,
out.
It's better this way.
Okay, so it's better at the spur of the moment.
Yes.
And of course, with it being pre-recorded, we can edit out anything.
That's what they told me. The bloopers can go, but we'll just keep it at a minimum.
Okay, okay, we'll keep it at a
see what happens.
So it has been a passion of ours for a short time for the singles. So can you kind of tell us about the singles ministry here at Emmanuel Baptist and kind of take us through the progression of your desire, your heart's desire, and then we'll go right into the singles renewal that we hold each year. So kind of just take us on this journey. So
I guess it was 2 years ago. We were sitting in a pastoral staff meeting revamping up from COVID.
Yes.
And we were putting up all the, departments that we had, and you had said that there was a need for the singles. And knowing my, just what I had going on at that time, and I was wanting to get involved. And I had actually prayed just a couple weeks before that. My wife and I were like, hey, we were watching Children's Church get back up, teen department get back up. And so I was actually wanting to go help out in one of those departments. And I was like, well, Lord knows, I'm not going to force it.
Because wasn't there a time that you actually, the children's choir?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was all inclusive with that.
Okay.
So it was just that step in, see how it goes, see what it works, and just be available. That to me has always been, your availability is your best ability. And so I just wanted the Lord to know, hey, if you can take it, teens, children's, whatever. And so then that we're in that staff meeting, and you had said you're wanting to start up something for the singles, and immediately it was like, that's it. And so I didn't know, because I've never done a lot with singles.
Right.
I never looked at myself as a good single, in the sense of most singles like to have coffee places and go hang out and do that. When I was a single, it was like, go to work, go home, go to school, go to work. That was my regiment.
So you needed a singles pastor.
Yeah, well, I did. Definitely.
Because that would have
helped.
Okay. All right.
But so then being able to pray about it, went home to my wife, and she's like, well, whatever you think. And I think that next day, it was in that week, I asked you, I said, hey, if you still need somebody, I'm available. And I'm thinking just a teacher, not being the singles pastor. And so you and I had gone, there was one other person there, and then we went to Starbucks. And we sat down, and you went through probably 2 hours of just, this is what it looks like, this is the step in, this is your vision of it. And so being able to take that, put it on paper, start praying about it. We started, I want to say October of 2020.
Yes, I think so.
And then from there, it has just been, it's been awesome.
So the splash in for me was the very first time that my friend, Brother Gilbert Fernandez, held a singles conference. I never heard of one. And so he held this conference at a hotel, and there were probably 70 of us crammed into this. That was the very first time pre-pandemic that all of a sudden it was a vision for, wow, and I, at the very beginning of the broadcast, what is the most underappreciated group? And I do think it's the singles.
You're right.
And so it's hey, you need something done, they're not attached to anything. And sometimes we use them as a workforce, but then they kind of lose their identity. And I think that our churches deserve to have a group of young adults, a couple of things. One, to where they're active, but they're not abused to that point. So I think that's where it came from. And then I think when you stepped up and said, hey, I would love to do this. So kind of give us what happens at Emmanuel on a weekly basis for the singles, and how do you look at all the single adults?
I will say the singles thing you were talking about, Brother Gilbert. So I was dating Blake at the time, and so she went to that.
Okay.
And I said, because I was home for the summer. I said, hey, now hold on. If you're going.
Were you jealous?
I was jealous. I was going to drive from there to Dallas. I was driving from Kansas to Dallas to be there. It didn't work out. I couldn't get off work, but I just thought it was funny. Anyway, so a normal week for the singles is.
I just got. Did she behave herself?
As far as I know.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Oh, I
7 years of marriage. I haven't. Everything's great. So. But Sunday we start at 9:30. So we have a Sunday school class, Bible study hour at 9:30. Breakfast. Come on. We have, right now we're walking through Psalms 119.
Nice.
And we open up with prayer requests, testimonies. I want them to feel a part of a family.
Yeah.
I know with singles, to a point, you are still in a family, but you don't have a family of your own. And so being able to come and just feel at home. We have college students, we have people who are away from their families.
Yeah.
And it's like, hey, this is a haven. This is somewhere you can come and enjoy life, joke around, have prayer requests, have Bible questions. We open up with Bible questions from the previous week's lesson, or from, what were you reading this week and you have a question about it. How can we answer that? Look into it. And after that, we do the lesson on Sundays, and then it just branches into church. A lot of the singles help out with the children's departments. They're in choir, ushering.
Yeah.
I mean, they're everywhere,
which
is great.
They are.
And I want them to be able to understand, if you're not called to full-time ministry, you can still minister.
Yes. Yep.
And so for them to be able to put that in and make it a part of their life.
Well, I do think that the Martha Mary combination.
Yep.
You sit and you
that,
serve.
That,
yeah. So you have to have that time in your life. When do you just sit?
Mm-hmm.
When do you serve?
Yep.
And so I just find it very, very interesting. Can you tell me about the compulsory? Can you tell me about your expectations for all the singles to be there? And if they're not there, does that determine, and I know it doesn't, and I know this is a question that I already know the answer to, but does it determine your feelings toward them?
No. And I think this is a great question to be asked for people to hear and answer, because you can live your life wondering, if I'm not checking these boxes that I had to as a teenager, then how do I fit in this role? And as a single, you've gone through it. You understand you've got a job. You are working 40, 50 hours a week. You're trying to figure out, you probably never had to do finances on your own, budgeting.
It's true.
You can't spend this much on coffee because you got to pay your, whatever's coming up.
Yeah.
So when you are there, that's what we want. Just be there, because not being there isn't helping anybody.
Yeah.
It's not helping you. And, and when they're not there, it's a text. It's, my wife and I on Wednesday nights, so we have Soul Purpose on Wednesday nights. That's the name of our singles department. When people aren't there, we're taking roll, and we're sending texts right there saying, hey, some of them work overnight, so I'd send them the lesson. Some of them, they are out of town or something happens, and it's, hey, we missed you. You're not forgotten, because it's easy to live in that life, at that stage of life, I should say, and you're watching people get married. You're watching other people's lives move on. A lot of people ask, how long am I going to be single?
Yeah.
I don't know that, but I know that while you are, you have a place.
So then I think that let's talk about the obvious elephant in the room, right? I'm single. So is the singles department a dating game? Is it a matchmaking time? Obviously, we've had a lot of couples get engaged.
Yes.
We've had a lot. I mean, this year has just been the year of engagement and marriage. So if you're going to find somebody, it'll happen in your world this year, 2023. But if you were telling people out there that maybe at other churches or even our church that are like, what's a singles department like? Is it
It is
everybody sit together, let's get married at the end of this?
Let's all plan it out, right?
Yeah.
And we can all be in each other's weddings.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
Okay. Okay.
If that's the intent, if you're looking at it for the intent of that, then I don't think you're doing it the right way. It's just got to be a place where they don't feel pressure I have to be, if I'm in a singles class for 6 months, well, then I have to have a boyfriend by 6 months. I got to be here after a first year. There is no expectation when it comes to your life and comparing it to others, because the Bible says they that compare themselves among themselves are not wise.
Yeah.
So there's no reason to look at it and say, well, if I'm not here like they are. We want it to just be come, enjoy it, and if you do find a relationship here, well, then pursue it and see what happens. Put Lord first and let that develop. But a lot of times, it's a growing stage.
Yeah.
It almost seems like you're here for a season, and if we can help for that season, then praise the Lord.
So then Wednesday night is a little bit different than Sunday morning.
Yes.
So on Wednesday night, we meet together for 15, 20 minutes in the auditorium, and then we break out and we dismiss everyone. And so talk to us about, what does that Wednesday night look like?
So we come in, we have a big choir practice that we do, and it's very enjoyable. I enjoy it because you don't realize how much you need music.
Yeah.
Christian, godly music that gets your mind off of your problems, off of you, and it focuses on the Lord and how good he's been and what you can do for him. So we start off with a big choir practice. And then from there, there are tables. So there are 7 different teachers that we have. And they're co-ed tables. The husband and wife sit together with, the young men and young women.
Yeah. And
they have a lesson. So after choir practice, we come up, we do birthdays, we do prayer requests and testimony time, announcements, if anything's coming up in the singles department, activities, stuff going on this month.
Yeah.
And then we have a prayer time, which has developed into a very sweet time. It is a time that when you look out, and there's no music going on, you're just listening. While you're praying, you're hearing other people pray. And it's awesome to hear them pray for each other and to be able to go to prayer, not just for yourself, but for others. So then after prayer time, we just go right into the lesson. So there's 7 different tables, 7 different teachers. What I love about that is every 6 to 8 weeks, we change it up.
Nice.
So the singles are getting someone new, because you have different life experiences than I have. And so for you to be able to share something, I would never even think about it.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't see how the Lord would work that out. But for you, he did. And you're able to share that. The Bible talks about righteousness of God being revealed from faith to faith.
Yep.
And you reveal it with your faith to them. And then their faith is just strengthened. So I really enjoy the fact that we have people who are willing to step up to the plate and say, hey, I'll study the Bible, I'll study that lesson, and I'll share it.
Yeah, because especially when these people that the singles are headed, because they're not that far removed from life responsibility.
No,
they have it, but they're kind of in this transition. I look at it this way, that when they turn the tassel, they lose the identity. Because in a year, they change. In high school, it's like freshman, now you're going to get a sophomore name. From sophomore, you're going to get a junior name. From junior, you're going to get a senior. But then after you turn the tassel, it's like, what's my identity?
You're just another number at the workplace.
You're another number. And adulting is hard. Yeah. It is very, very hard. Let me ask you this. If you were to give the top topics that you have taught, right, that you believe singles need. So if there's singles listening, and you were to give these not necessarily in order of importance as much as these would be the topics that I would encourage you to have a conversation about, get help with, and don't think you have to do this on your own. And I know this is so cold turkey. So what would you say?
I think first on the list would be when we had our spring banquet.
Yeah.
And that was something we do for the singles. We do it for them to come and have a time to enjoy fellowship and games. There was one thing that I said that I guess I didn't really realize how true it rang until a few conversations afterwards.
Right.
But it was, you'll never regret living your life for someone else.
Yes.
Because as a single, a lot of your life is now on you. How are you going to do your bills, and how are you going to invest in others? And next thing you know, this is the most money you've ever had.
It's true.
And so then what are you spending it on? And is it all about you? So being able to turn around in the verse was John 15:33. Greater love hath no man than this, than that a man lay down his life for his friend. And if you look at that lay down, it's literally to put on pause. And how many times have I put my life on pause for other people?
Yeah.
And as a single, that attribute is going to so separate you in the workplace. It'll separate you among your family and friends, to where they know if I have a problem, I could call so-and-so right now, and they would pick up the phone. So I think being able to live your life for someone else. The second one,
that's so good.
We did a lesson series on charity, 1 Corinthians 13. And I was just walking through it, putting the lessons out.
Right.
And hearing the chatter afterwards about the different attributes of charity and how these attributes affect your life. But as you show it, the way you are making God's love known through this charity, through this living it out, not just talking about it, but living it out. And then the third thing we're doing it right now is adding to your faith, because it's easy to hit this point at 18 where you've maybe you've gone through the Bible reading schedule, you've hit the prayer request,
Yeah.
you've got a good system, but is it adding to your faith? Is it growing your spirituality? So we've taken those 8 attributes, and we're on brotherly kindness this week, to where always being able to look and increase your faith.
So a single goes from not knowing anybody coming in, and the singles embrace somebody, right? They don't know who these people are.
Right.
What is the best way that a single can do to a new single comes to church? All right, there's this awkwardness. It always exists.
Yeah.
Do I walk up and do I
What
grab
kind of car?
them?
Do they drive a better car?
Right.
Do they work
So
a better
so
job?
how does a single overcome? How do they overcome the initial awkwardness that exists? Because
Well,
it exists for everybody.
I'm the king of awkward, so I don't know if I'll give the best answer, but I will say living your life with an inclusive mentality, not exclusive.
Okay.
And that means, to me, including yourself in their life. A lot of times we can exclude to a clique or exclude to our world and those we know, when really it's not just including someone, it's you having this mentality of, you know what, I'm going to include them with what I've got going on. How can we include each other in this Christian life, in this journey that we go through? Because the relationships you make as singles, when your friends start getting married and you're married and they have kids and you have kids, that interaction becomes so much more.
Yeah.
My wife has a friend right now, and it's like they have kids, we have kids, and there's so much of that relationship that if we would have maybe not included ourselves, if we wouldn't have been, then maybe that relationship wouldn't be where it is now.
We have seniors graduating. This is the graduation time of year. So I have 2 more things I want to ask. The graduation's this time of year. Seniors will be turning the tassel, graduating, stepping out. How important is it that they attach themselves to the singles atmosphere?
It is important.
Okay.
Because it is easy. It is one, like you had already mentioned, losing your identity. But after you lose the identity, you start to lose attachments.
Yeah, that's good.
Because then it's, well, that Sunday school teacher is no longer my Sunday school teacher.
Mm-hmm.
And that guy, we graduated together, but he went over here for college, or he moved away. And next thing you know, it almost seems like you're losing your tie to people. And so being able to step in and not be to where it's all about every connection, but the ones that matter, the ones that are helping you, the ones that you look at and say, hey, you help me. And now that I'm at this age, how do you look at this? How do you see it? Always have people that you can call and be able to say, hey, I'm going through this. What do you think?
Yep.
How do you look at it?
Yep, absolutely. And the last thing I want to talk about is the spiritual renewal.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, all right. So we're going to put an advertisement up for the spiritual renewal, and it's coming up in September, right?
Yes.
Yes, end of September, and the first of October is when this is going to be. So kind of talk to us about the single renewal and the singles retreat. And so how's it grown? How's it matured?
So,
or has it matured?
No, I think it has. I know the first year we did it, I wasn't able to go.
Okay.
Because my wife, she was pregnant, and I think we ended up having the baby like the week after.
Got it.
So I wasn't able to be there. But
and by the way, you have a baby due.
I do.
In 2 weeks.
Yes.
2 weeks. He's going to be another daddy.
I'm ready.
Number 3, right?
Yeah, it is.
And 2 boys.
2 boys, and we don't. So this is a funny story, but the blood test says boy, sonogram says girl. So we're just kind of like, hey, we're winging it, Just pick one of those neutral names. Go either way.
Bob.
Bob.
Yeah.
No.
Okay. So talk about the singles renewal.
So let's see. 2 years ago, I was able to go, and it was great. We had, of course, Pastor Michael Grant has been with us both years now.
Right.
And the first year, I think, gave me a vision for the next year.
Yeah.
I don't know how that works with some people, but when you're there and you're seeing it, you're seeing where you messed up, the plans that you should have had, you didn't, or maybe stuff's not working out. So, you're taking notes, you're trying to prepare. But last year was probably the best year we had.
last year.
It was phenomenal.
Last year was
Friday
amazing.
night,
Yep.
words cannot explain
Absolutely.
the way God met.
Absolutely. And Brother Grant, I've referenced it several times, but when he got in the zone, is that what you want to call it? Preaching about Jesus.
Yep. It was almost as if God was like, I approve this message.
Yes.
Here I am.
Yep.
Because it was phenomenal.
Yep. Put a stamp of approval on it. Absolutely. And so talk to us about this year, and how would somebody register? How's all this work?
Yeah, so the event is online. So if you go to ebclongview.com, go to events. I don't think we have the registration up yet, but it gives you all the information about it. Registration will be coming. Last year we had games, late night, like after the first service. It wasn't just go back to your dorms. We had food, we had games,
Yes.
we had, what was the one we played?
Mafia?
Friday, Mafia. I mean,
We
that
played
was
one giant game of Mafia.
crazy.
It was crazy.
You just got to be there to know, and it was
Yeah.
crazy. But they at the place that we use, they had tons of activities for us to be part of. The food was good, and once again, just being there.
So it's on Thursday night? Starts Thursday night?
Thursday night, and then it's all day Friday, and then Saturday morning.
And so it's single. So please don't think that this is a place where you're going to be pressured into dating, that's not what this is about. No. It's about finding the Lord and letting the Lord do something in your heart that you can go back rejuvenated. And you'll be seeing social media about it, commercials about it. But Brother Mitchell, thank you very much for your labor of love for the singles in our church. And if you need anything, please make sure that you contact us here. And if maybe you're watching and you're like, we don't know how to get a singles department going, then you might want to just call, because I promise you the biggest ingredient in anything is just love the people. You love the people. That love produces its own vision. And here's my box fit in it has never worked long term.
And this generation, it almost seems like they smell agenda a mile away.
Oh,
so it almost has to be so organic so Christ-centered, because the moment they get it, hey, was that a dating comment? Was that a dating? And I'm like, no, it wasn't.
This is true. And speaking of organic and something that just we enjoy here, the specials are amazing. And this past Sunday, once again, we just were able to enjoy a trio of three mamas, three wives, three mamas, and that have a deep love for the Lord. And I hope you enjoy it. Again, thank you for watching the broadcast. We'll be back live next Friday. And I'm looking forward to looking at all the chatter that has gone on today. And if you have any questions, comments, pictures, anything you want to send in, you can do that. And just kind of email us, text us. We would love to hear from you. But enjoy the trio, and we will see you next week.
The course of time, so many still reach out to him with broken hearts and minds, and every one of them will say without exception that they find Jesus never fails. Even in the days of old, he brought his people through. And then he came to show his love when he died for me and you. And then he rose again to prove that every story had been true, that Jesus never fails. Jesus never fails. Jesus never fails. You might as well get thee behind me, Satan. You cannot prevail.
hard to bear. I know I could not make it without Jesus.